Tonight, we are looking at the recent journey of Jeranism. He is a well-known figure in the Flat Earth community who has begun re-examining his beliefs. This shift followed an experiment in Antarctica. Some of you may have heard of the Flat Earth or the final experiment. It was designed to observe the 24-hour sun, a critical point of contention for the Flat Earth map. Beyond the details of the experiment, Jeranism's experience opens the door to a broader conversation about how we approach and sometimes reconsider our beliefs. It's an interesting opportunity to discuss key concepts like confirmation bias, cognitive dissonance, and the dynamics of group thinking. So, let's take a closer look, not to necessarily debate, but to explore how this story reflects larger patterns of thought and understanding. Let's begin.
Interesting show because things have changed for me drastically. If you've been paying attention this last couple of weeks, you know, like I do, that there's some craziness going on in this community. It's been going on for a while, and it just now makes sense to me, or at least tells me something, and I want to tell you guys that. So I wanted as many flat earthers here as possible so that they could hear it from me that they have not very many chances to back out now. Let's say that. What does Jeremy mean? What do you mean, back out now? Well, if you haven't noticed that we have a problem, we have a big problem. And that problem is that it is no longer a intellectual study, if you want to call it that. It's no longer a truth journey. You may think it is. I thought it was. But then I realized that it's not. How did I realize that? Well, if you didn't know, I went to Antarctica. And the whole trip was exactly as advertised. Yet I have been threatened by former friends. I've been threatened by flat earthers. I've been gaslit. You know, there's just video after video coming out about me. It's kind of hilarious. It really is very, very, very strange that people pay so much attention to the beliefs of somebody else. I don't care what any of your beliefs are. Just so you know, none. I don't make shows where I invite people on. Like, let's talk about Slow Sanchez's beliefs. What do you think about what Slow Sanchez believes about this? Oh, what I think is that he believes it because he believes this about that. No, because I don't give a shit. But it is funny to me that so many of you obviously care very deeply about me. Basically every channel that I've seen on YouTube is talking about me, which is kind of funny. Kind of funny. Trying to type something in here real quick, and then so what I want to get into is kind of what I talked about, and sorry it was leaked. I guess I shouldn't talk on Facebook. I mean on Telegram unless.
So he's taking a little bit to get to the point here, but the final experiment, what that was, is a man named Will Duffy. He set it up and funded for 2 flat earthers and I believe 3 quote-unquote globers to fly to Antarctica to observe the 24-hour sun. So Jaren has his beliefs set that the earth is flat, and now he's observing something that contradicts that belief system.
I know that people are going to pick that up. There we go. Trying to get my hat to work there. Excuse me. Let's see if that's any better. Does my hat work now? Let's go to here. Yeah, I think so. Does the hat work? Yeah. Can you see that if I do it? Seems good. Yeah. Just making sure the hat's straight. Can you see that good, right? Can you see how you can read it? Good. Just making sure.
It says shill for those who possibly can't read it. What that is a term for an individual who has quote unquote sold out or who is getting funding to propagate a certain message.
Sure. Making sure if I'm going to be called a shill, I might as well wear the shill hat. Because why not? Who cares? Please don't go on to promote other conspiracies. You're just going to be wrong about those as well. Thank you you are mocked. I didn't say I was going to do that, but thanks for that vote of confidence. I do appreciate it. What I plan to do in the future is a little bit different than people might.
Jaron has an excellent opportunity given his experience now to spread a very positive message. I hope he takes it.
Suspect. Number one thing is that this show right here will continue, at least for the foreseeable future. It will be called Jeranism Friday Unplugged, Jeranism FU, and that is the place that you will find me on Fridays at 3 p.m. If you don't want to find me here, block me now, get out of the channel, block the channel. You never have to see me again. It's very easy. Very simple. It's the way it should work in life.
The Flat Earth community has come at him very aggressively, hence his attitude.
And if you do want to watch, I think that you might learn something, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and slowly as fast as I can, kind of eliminate a lot of my old videos that I no longer feel are pertinent or are correct or no longer in line with my current thoughts. Now, at one time, I thought for sure that there was no 24-hour sun in the South. Now, what I've been shocked at is the people that have, number one, come out and said it doesn't matter. Number two, the people that say that the observations that we made were fake.
So we're going to start getting into good examples of cognitive dissonance. A simple example of cognitive dissonance is one who believes smoking is bad, but continues to smoke. Belief and action. This can induce psychological discomfort. So Jeranism is experiencing cognitive dissonance now. He is having to change his beliefs to align with his actions. This is not only about the shape of the earth, though, and you will hear about it. I would argue a key component to this is a consistent repetition of his belief and identity as a quote-unquote truther. He is seeing that the community he participates in is not about truth or evidence. It is about the rejection of truth and evidence. This is very significant.
Or three, it's a nothing burger. Or four, that, as I just heard Dustin Nemo say recently, that all flat maps call for the 24-hour sun in the South. So here's the thing that I'm afraid that you guys aren't seeing. Okay? You are being lied to by not just the mainstream, but now you're being lied to by the very people that you watch. Now, Jaron, what are you trying to say? You're the most honest flat earther that there is? Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. Jaron, that's really cocky of you. I don't care. I've seen from everybody else just garbage, nonsense, attaching themselves to the most ridiculous ideas. I mean, we could go and...
Another thing to observe, and he's going to touch on this as he just did, is with cognitive dissonance, you will see a justification of their actions and the addition of new beliefs to make things fit their worldview. For example, the 24-hour sun no longer matters to the flat earth.
Look at a couple things to start it out. Speaking of ridiculous ideas, remember that you are part of this group. Okay, when I say I'm no longer a flat earther, which, by the way, if you haven't figured that out yet, I no longer will consider myself a flat earther because of the group that associates you with, number one. And number two, I can no longer hold that opinion considering I showed myself evidence that it's not possible. Now, could I be wrong? As I've said a million times, absolutely, you can be wrong all the time. So you would think that maybe somebody would come along and show me that I'm wrong. But I have an issue. I don't think anybody will be able to do that because nobody's been able to do it thus far. What do you mean by that? Well, I mean that you'll hear people now say, oh, Lady Blunt, she said that there was a 24-hour sun in the South back in 1870 or 95, whatever. But you'll notice that from that date to now, no one's come up with another map. Nobody. And I want you guys to understand what it does, what it tells you when you do what I did. And you can do it too. That's the other thing. And I want to put out a bet too. I want to put out a bet somehow and let flat earthers put their, because I'm not even sure they believe what they say they do anymore. I don't even think they'll just change it. Have you not noticed? Nobody believes anything. You don't have to believe anything when you're in flat earth.
There we go.
You don't have to believe anything because you don't have a model. We don't have a map. You just kind of just go through it. And if something comes up that doesn't match our worldview, we just kind of say it was fake and move on to the next thing and say, water lies flat. That's what happens. That's what this community does. That's what this group of people do. And it's scary because what it does is it tells you that we will never get anywhere. And that's one thing I want you guys to realize right away. If you are a flat earther or in the flat earth or following flat earthers, I'm just telling you, I've been in this for 10 years. It's going nowhere. Now, you can let Dave Weiss tell you that it's going to hit the mainstream tomorrow. You can let anybody tell you that.
Jeranism has played a major role in this social movement for a decade, a pivotal role. And he's been spreading his message, although it's changed now, for a long, long time and built quite a following.
Here's the problem with that, is that it will never hit mainstream until you can better explain reality than the globe. Now, I thought that we could. Hey, we don't feel like we're spinning. Flat Earth says we're not spinning. Hey, we don't feel like we're flying through space. Flat Earth says we're not. Hey, I don't feel like we're on a ball. I don't feel like the vacuum next to the atmosphere works. And so I thought that Flat Earth better explained it. But we have to be able to explain the sun, and it cannot be explained. Now, you might be thinking right now, the same thing every Flat Earther's told me, which is just more proof of what I'm saying. If you're thinking right now, but Joe Hanvey's model shows it. You haven't looked at Joe Hanvey's model. You haven't paid attention to his videos. It does not show it. Oh, but every flat map calls for it. Nope. If you're talking about people taking globe math, putting it on top of a flat map and saying that it works, I'm going to show you tonight why these people are lying to you. Now, how long will it take you to figure it out? I don't know. Now,
it's such a drastic change in beliefs. It's very interesting watching this and observing it on video, real time. This is significant for him. Very significant. He has dedicated a large portion of his life in spreading this message. And now it's changed. It's going to change his entire life.
Does it mean that, then Jaron, are you saying that the flat earth can't be right because these guys... Nope, I'm saying that I don't want to be part of a community that accepts the kind of bullshit that these guys have been putting out. If you think the Antarctica trip was in any way fake, you are retarded. There's too much evidence. And for those of you out there saying, but you would have said the same thing. No, I wouldn't. There's a difference between saying the moon landings are fake. When there was one camera from NASA played on a CRT TV screen where the media had to come in and film off the TV screen. Okay, everybody in their controller desks were, as Gene Krantz said, they didn't know the difference between real and test data. This is totally different. This is 10 people or 9, whatever it was, in Antarctica, live streaming. You can't even find live streams from Antarctica from anybody else besides the group that went there. I don't want to say only me, because obviously Toon and all those guys did too. But what I'm saying is what we did was impressive. And yet nobody's ever going to say that. They're just going to keep saying that there's no... people are looking at 720 footage and saying like, there's no footprints in the... just ridiculous. Yesterday somebody posted a video that showed me eating my soup and said that because a split second the soup said pollo for something about with chicken.
So many new conspiracy theories regarding this event have come out, and they are so fringe and just a reach to grab anything to disprove what occurred and the evidence provided by the event.
They said, no, that was my ode to Apollo. That, I'm not kidding. I kid you not. That is what was said. And this is just, it's getting disgusting. That nobody should allow these people to say the things that they've said. Friends of mine throw me under the bus and then they answer, I just was asking questions. Yeah, I know you were. That's the problem. So I want you just to listen to something from here. This is from the great pastor.
We worship you, Lord.
Oh, do you know, we worship you, O Lord, and Jesus, and we save us and everything. But again, here's the problem. The other thing is the problem with Christianity and the fact that they have attached themselves to this movement, and they will not let it go.
I agree with this a great deal. There is an interesting aspect to the in-group dynamics of the flat earth community. It is a religious one, primarily related to Christianity, No matter my beliefs, I empathize with those who are Christian that don't prescribe to the flat earth belief. It associates Christianity and religion with a highly disputed interpretation of the Bible. And in turn, it fuels that division between believers and non-believers, as they can say, how can they believe in this when the majority does not?
And what happens then is that we have to accept nonsense from these guys like Dean Odell. You know what Dean Odell's excuse is for this? Do you know why the I saw the sun? Any ideas why I saw the sun? Why was I able to see the sun in the south? Anybody know? Well, I'll tell you. I'm going to find him where he says it here. I got to put that in. Okay. Let's see here. There's lots of places he says it here. All right. Oh, there we go. Let's try this. How about here? Watch this. Gonna bring you over. Let's go to here. Check this out. And you tell me if this is something that you stand behind. And I guess it is, because you have to. And that's the problem. You should be able to think for yourself. But let's hear.
You don't think Satan could pull that off? Oh, yeah. And let me tell you something.
Oh, let's listen again.
The sun moved in a circle around them in Antarctica. Let me just go and tell you right now. You don't think Satan could pull that off?
It scares me that an individual like this actually has a following. I find it amazing, absolutely amazing, that he can get up there and say the things that he can, a preacher, and gather a flock.
Satan.
Oh, yeah. And let me tell you something else.
Now it's Satan who disguised himself as a ball of light and circled me in Antarctica because these guys are desperate. Why would somebody say that unless it did matter? Remember, people said it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter what the sun does, Jaron. We can't decide the shape of the ground. How many times have I told you how wrong that is? How many people keep saying it? It's ridiculous. Nobody's saying that because of the lights in the sky, we can tell the shape of the ground. We are saying that the lights in the sky have a very predictable, and by very, I mean like precise, and I mean by for the last thousands of years, the lights in the sky have a predictable motion that we know and we understand. It's called the Tropic of Cancer, Capricorn, equinox. The sun varies in between those ranges. It's above the people's heads at each spot for a certain part of the year. So we know what the frickin' sun does. That's what's important. Once you know what something does, thank you very much. I'll be checking super chats in 1 second. Wait, as soon as you know what the thing on the ceiling does, okay, let's say you're in your bedroom. It doesn't matter where you're at. If something on the ceiling does a predictable pattern, and you get to know that pattern, okay, I get it. Then if you have a map, and that map, you look at the map and you try and jive it with that motion of the ceiling, you can disprove, okay, you can falsify a map. Because if the map that you're...
One component of conspiracy theories and this group in general is they seek they have a simplistic answer to complex questions. You know, these are such reaches for anything that they can grab to justify their beliefs. And the examples that they provide as ways to disprove the globe is a good example of confirmation bias with how they approach evidence. And another way to say this is a my side bias. I'll give you a citation. According to Uwe Peters, it is defined as a people's tendency to search for information that supports their beliefs and ignore or distrust data contradicting them. I would argue that confirmation induces paralysis of one's beliefs or worldview. It removes the malleable nature of one's social reality. You stop questioning your beliefs. It is interesting that we have access to more good information than ever before, and yet at times it seems we are as ignorant now as in the past, while confined to a cave.
Looking at doesn't coincide with the known motion of the things in the sky, then that map cannot be correct. It's that simple. Why is this difficult? Why is this difficult? Okay. Now, the map that I have promoted for 9 years, 10 years, the AE map, which I thought worked and doesn't. Okay. It is now fatally flawed. And I just don't understand why, when we got back, why people couldn't just say, all right, good point. It's flawed. The map is flawed. So let's go back to the drawing board. Let's stop being so cocky. But no, that's not what happened. People said it was fake. Half of them said it was fake. Half of them said it doesn't matter. What happened with Eric Dubay? Eric Dubay started out by saying, oh, well, it's actually not even a big deal if it circles, because Lady Blount said it did, even though she says later, we can't explain this. We have no explanation for it. We just are admitting it's a fact. But you notice that Eric Dubay, who probably knew that when he wrote his 200 proofs, he left that out and actually put the proofs in that said that the sun didn't circle in the south. Then as soon as we said, hey, we're going to go down there and look at it.
Do you think, for those who know about this topic, that video by Eric Dubay, the 200 proofs, should be removed? I know that there's always this danger of talking about censorship, but he will mention this. These are parents, many of these people who are part of this community, and as a result, there is tacit knowledge passed down to their kids, and it will affect their beliefs and their social interactions with other people. It seems like it wouldn't be a problem, but it affects so many people.
He said, oh, it does circle in the south, and you guys accept it. So there's going to be a trend tonight that I want you to notice. It's whatever flat earthers say, flat earthers accept. And whatever goes against our model, flat earthers call fake. And they think they're in some sort of power position. This is the thing that got me the most upset, is the cockiness of flat earthers where there is none deserved. There's none deserved. Just going around saying we don't have a model, we don't have a map, does not make you able to be cocky. We don't have a model, we don't have a map. Sit down. Go back to class, go back to the drawing board, do it again till you come up with something. But what Flat Earth does is they try to push themselves to the front of the row, to the front of the class, but they don't have anything. Oh, but we have all the facts, Jaron. We know that water lies. Okay, it will never, again, I'll repeat to you, Flat Earth will never take over anything. You will.
This is a huge statement from someone who has dedicated their life to this movement.
In 5 years, be doing the exact same thing, but you'll have less friends, less family, less money, less hopes and dreams, less truth. That's what comes with time with the Flat Earth. Why? Because everybody here is just wanting clicks, wanting drama. What can we talk about on our channel today and tomorrow and the next day so that we get more clicks, more drama, more dopamine hits? Nobody is doing the work. And I repeat, nobody.
That's a good observation just about our culture in general when it comes to media, what drives us to consume.
Now you might say, oh, there are some people doing the work, Jaron. Okay, well, they're not producing anything. What are they producing? If you're talking about Stephen Alonso and his lies, I mean, he's just making things up. I saw him today, and we'll look at it in a second. It's getting ridiculous. It's getting scary. Like, I am appalled at some of the stuff I see and being said and agreed with. I mean, who's this King Nico? Where did this guy come from? Magician or something? Guy's out of his mind. These people have no idea. They haven't been here for 10 years. And here's Dean Odell saying that we can manipulate weather.
We know can manipulate the weather. We know this from the book of Job. Satan can manipulate the weather.
Oh.
And we know the United States government can. Right? Why is everybody up in arms? See, one reason I've sat back and just watched all the hoopla about all this, because I'm like, I don't care if you see 15 suns in the sky and they do whirlabouts. God's word is true.
Okay, so that is the problem right there. Okay, what Dean Odell just said is the problem for a majority of flat earthers. He just said that it doesn't matter how many suns you see, it doesn't matter what you see in the sky, it doesn't matter what you see. So now, to Dean Odell, it doesn't matter if you measure curve. It doesn't matter if you take him up to space and show him the earth. God's word is true. Now, of course, Is that God's word? I've
He mentioned something that was pivotal, and it's key to confirmation bias. There is a reality matching function that has been discussed that it is just related to our evolution as a species, at how we approach things. When a challenge to our belief structure exists, we are inclined to seek information that lies in line to our existing beliefs.
contention about that. What I don't understand is why Christians think it's okay to pick and choose from the Bible and not adhere to the whole thing. Romans 11 says, all government is placed there by God. To go against the government is to go against God. Yet every one of those Christians that I know and everybody that watches my channel, and myself included, chose not to get vaccinated, chose to go against government wishes. But if you tell them, well, that was going against God, they say, what are you talking about? I did what God would have wanted me to do. Okay, so then what's wrong? Then why are we going to say some things from the Bible and not others? That's my problem with that. But I won't get into that. That's another subject altogether, and that will just piss people off to no end. I accept religion. And let me tell you this to flat earthers. If your religion is flat earth, I have no problem. If you have a religious belief in flat earth, I have no problem at all. But you cannot enter into scientific discussions. Okay?
That's a big statement.
The no map, no model, no claim, that kind of thing. We don't make any claims. Okay, the science is making claims. That's what science is. It's making claims and then backing them with evidence, showing which test can show which is the most likely answer, or what is most backed up by examples or testing.
That is a significant change to his message that he once spread as a key component to the social movement that is the flat earth is a distrust of authority. And now he's recognizing that there is value in it, or at least a method to acquiring knowledge and information.
So if you don't make claims, then you don't do science. And why did we ever think it was okay to do so? I keep bringing up this analogy, and I know people don't like it, but I don't really care. It's the way it feels to me. Let me just explain. It's as if we have a bowling alley with the PBA bowling team. They're bowling, they're throwing their ball, they're having a great time. And next to them is a group of children. They're loud, they're obnoxious, they are just kind of sad and dirty noses. And they ask for bumper balls. Can we get the bumpers in the gutters, please? Sure. So, place turns on the bumpers, they're using bumpers. And then they're turning to the PBA bowlers and making fun of them, saying, ha ha, you guys can't even bowl. Look at that guy just bowling in the gutter. We never bowl gutter over here. They're like, well, yeah, you're using the bumpers. And then they've got a couple teammates that say, like, what about these guys? Do they bowl too? And they say, we don't throw no balls. We don't have any lanes, but you guys suck and don't know what you're doing and are terrible. What? People would laugh them out of the building. Like, you don't get to come to the bowling alley and talk shit when you have nothing. So what I really thought was that we'd come back and that people would go back to the drawing board and we would figure this out. Instead, people say it doesn't matter and they just want to move on. It's fake, it doesn't matter, move on. So that's what will happen forever. Do you realize that? Are you aware that you will be here in 5 years? And yeah, sure, Witsit's going to have destroyed a couple people in debates. You've got Alan will do a couple great presentations. Shane will win some debates and do some presentations. There'll be some drama. Z and Notch will cover some other drama going on, and there'll be no change. Nothing. Nothing will change ever. Why? Because nobody's doing the work. So if that's what you're here for, great. I'm not here for that. I'm not going to be here in 5 years doing the same thing, giving the same argument. But water lives level. Well, let me see you make water curve. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. And why are flat earthers? They're so smart when it comes to left-right paradigms, right? If you told somebody a flat earther, what are you, left or right? They'd be like, what? That's ridiculous. That's a government setup. That's that's an agenda meant to put us apart, make us, fight each other. So is flat earth versus globe earth. It's the same thing. And you're getting stuck into a belief system that is very difficult to get out of. Let me tell you, very difficult. So I'm trying to make this opportunity for people who want to exit now to blame it on me, to put the pressure on me, because I don't care. I can take it. Okay. If you've noticed, everybody's been making.
He says that he doesn't care about what other people feel about his beliefs, and yet he's taking responsibility for his actions at the same time. Like, there is a recognition that his platform has had a significant impression upon other people, a great deal.
Making videos about me, I don't even watch them. Don't even care. I don't even care. Again, it's like I'm the PBA bowler, and then there's a bunch of children with bumpers yelling and screaming and throwing rocks at me. I don't care. Keep throwing rocks. Doesn't bother me. Okay. So let me see here. We got this one. I just want to finish off with the Satan. Is Satan the one who put the sun up in the sky, guys? Now, some of you might say
that they knew because they're Satanists, some of them, and they saw a light go around. All these weird anomalies.
No anomalies.
I'm not even going to. I'm just going to say they went and they saw a light.
This is what you guys need to realize. If you're me, just realize that every single person that I used to think was a good researcher, from Level Earth Observer to Plain Truth to Don't Sphere the Truth to Eric Dubé to Sov to you name it, they all turned out to be trash. They're trash researchers. How do I know that? Because I went on the trip. I was there. It's clear. It's obvious. It's obvious.
So now that he sees that their approach was false, now he has to accept a new method to develop his social reality.
And yet, if we can't even decipher that, how can we expect ever to do anything? And the answer is you cannot. So here's the thing, because you might be hating me, flat earthers. I'm just telling you, I'm making a prediction. You will be in the same spot and nothing will happen. Nothing will ever, not with this bunch. Do you see what happened here? If something goes against our worldview, we have to figure it out. That's what should happen. If you call it fake and move on, you'll never do anything. You'll never go anywhere. You'll never have a map. You'll never have a model. But some people are happy with that. Why? Because Stephen Alonso is going to make money. These guys are going to make money. So to them, they don't really care. They don't care.
Around them in a circle that they thought was the sun, or that they.
So I thought it was the sun. Let's hear again. Go, Dean.
And they saw a light go around them in a circle that they thought was the sun.
It is the sun, Dean.
This social movement has fascinated me for a decade when it really started to kick up. I just cannot imagine making that my reality. But it makes it very interesting looking at it from a research perspective on social groups and other applications of key concepts.
We zoomed in on it with a camera. You know what those are? And took pictures of the sunspots. You know what those are? And they're the same ones that are there from somebody taking a picture at the same time in the north.
Or that they knew because they're Satanists.
Oh, okay. They knew because they're Satanists.
Some of them. That Satan would be there to help them. Because listen, folks.
Wow.
Satan has a lot invested in this deception.
Do you realize where this goes? I'm just wondering if people can grasp that if you can get away with saying what Dean Odell's saying right now, then you can get away with anything. Dean Odell, the same guy, am I mistaken, or is he the one that said, I think he is. Dean Odell, wait, is Dean Odell the one who said that 9/11, that God came to him? God, I can't remember if that was Dean Odell or not. I think it was. So God came to Dean Odell 3 days before 9/11 and told him that a plane would be crashing into a building in New York. And that he didn't tell anybody because he didn't know why God told him that. And then he saw it happen. He's like, oh, that's why God told me. So that's what God does. God talks to Dean Odell. I believe it. Tells him about 9/11.
He has spent hundreds of years crafting this deception about changing the nature of creation so that people won't believe the Bible. He built NASA to help you out.
Don't believe the book that talks about me. Makes sense.
With this one. Think about that.
So now Satan built NASA. Satan. He actually says that Satan created himself as a ball of light and went around the sky. That's what he says. Satan was what I saw in the sky, not the sun. Even though I left Punta Arenas, I guess Satan always the sun, Dean? I need help here. Because this is just convoluted nonsense bullshit.
Perception.
And I don't know why we ever allow it to happen. And just everybody in the crowd, oh, yeah, that's true. It could be that. Again, if you want to remain here for 10 years and get nowhere, you're in the right spot. Just be a flat earther. Follow Dean Odell. You will get nowhere. You will accomplish nothing. You'll lose more friends. You'll lose more family. If something goes against your worldview, you need to change your theory, or you need to accept it. It's a religion that you have, right? So I don't have a religion of flat earth. I don't. I measured the earth and it showed up to be level and flat. So I said, okay. So I looked at water, said water lies flat. Okay. They lied about me in an experiment. I said, okay,
There's a difference between flat and level.
that's even more proof. They lied about Stephen Hawking's experiment. I said, okay, now we got something. They lied on Nat Geo. Okay, for sure. They don't have 24/7 cameras at the South Pole. Okay, this is for sure. And then we went down and checked and I realized I was wrong. So why am I the only one? They can say, oh, I was wrong. Let's reevaluate. Now, here's the problem. When I said that, people flipped out, called me a shill because I reported what I saw. Now, if you can't see the problem here, that in the future, people are not even going to come forward anymore. Let's say somebody's out, they're doing some testing and they
Flat earthers hold a great deal of value of perception of something occurring. In other words, they're there, they're watching it. If there is evidence that they did not observe themselves, they instantly distrust it.
they find curvature. They test it, they find it. They do, okay, great. Do you realize that that person will be afraid now to come out and say it? The flat earth is shut down. There can be no new information. Nothing can be grown upon. It is now a dogmatic religious belief. And I got into flat earth to get away from religion, and now I'm getting out to get away from religion again. I'm out. I will not consider myself a flat earther if I'm the same as Dustin Nemos. If I'm the same as King Nico. If I'm the same as Banjo Baloo. If I'm the same as Sov. I'm just asking questions. He called me like, Jerry, can you explain to me what,
But they never listen to the answers.
what is this storm coming in if there's no snow in Antarctica? What is this storm coming in? Like, dude, relax, fucking old man. Re-fucking-lax. It's called low-level clouds. No, I don't know about that.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay. It's just bullshit. And I can't stand it anymore. What do you guys want me to do? To sit?
What's coming up is a very good example of misinformation and the culture of their community with providing information to other people.
Around. And yeah, am I the only flat earther that's been able to say I'm done? I cannot put up with lies anymore. Okay? I bit my tongue the last couple of days. I cannot handle it. It's bullshit. And this whole time for 9 years, I've been working my ass off to try and make things fit, try and make things work, show a
trying to make it fit. There it is right there.
personal atmospheric dome, show a glass dome, show how the sun can deviate from that. But then these guys start coming out with things that I'll never be able to explain. Nobody will. I know I keep saying it, but there's things like, think of how the flat earth treats the Selenelion eclipse. They call it the impossible eclipse because both the sun and the moon are above the horizon. And in order for that to happen, really, we need to give the globe maybe, I know it's only a half degree to get it from, that's the size of the sun and moon, but let's say we give them 5 degrees. Okay, so we give them 5 degrees on both sides, so now the sun and moon are both above the horizon, and we have a Selenelion eclipse. Okay, that's all they're asking for, 5 degrees. And we make fun of them and call it the impossible eclipse. But then we allow Joe Hanvey and this guy, Alfonso Soriano, to have 180 degree refraction of the sun, meaning that the sun is on the other side of the earth. But somehow we allow that. So what I want you guys to realize is that this is the way it will be forever. Look what happens if you dare to say, I am no longer a flat earther. Go look at the videos that were made yesterday by the likes of Snatchy Keta, by the likes of Slow Sanchez, who had a whole team. He had to have a whole team of people come up there and talk. It's hilarious. That this is what happened. It's a cult. It's a cult. Why would anybody care what my beliefs are? In fact, my hope is that people just go away.
He should really have the self-awareness to know that people do care. You can't have that size of a platform, which is significant, and I don't believe that you can't not be aware of that.
And let me do what I'm going to do. And if they continue, then I am going, because I've already heard people say, oh, he's going to do a circuit. He's going to go around. I have no plans to do that. I have no plans to go to the media and say, hey, I was a flat earther and I'm not anymore, and here's why.
I hope he does. I really hope he does.
I have no plans to do that. I feel like I owe it to my audience to say why, but I don't want to do that. But I might just do that. Because what I'm saying is the truth. What you guys are saying is a lie. And because you're too stupid to realize what I mean by the Home Depot, like, this is how dumb people are. They can't even get a thought in their head. The Home Depot is so simple to think about because people are like, they don't get it. Like, but Jaron, our feet, below our feet measure flat. And I'm like, yeah, that's what the globe says. Do you realize that in a Home Depot, it would take 17 Home Depots, by the way, to make a mile. So let's just do one. In that one Home Depot, how much curvature do you think there is on a curved earth? On a spherical earth, the size that we're told, 24,901 miles in circumference, what do you think the curvature is of a Home Depot that is only 1/17th of a mile? Hopefully you can figure that out. That would be like less than an inch, less than a half inch, less than a quarter inch. Now, can you not understand that if you built a Home Depot next to that one, it would have the same curvature? And the one next to that one would have the same curvature. And the one next to that would have the same curvature. And do you realize that we would put a level anywhere in those Home Depots and they would always measure level? So when you say the ground below our feet measures level, yeah, that's what the globe says. Now, you can make every song that you want, make AI, make Home Depot songs. What do you think that tells me? It tells me that I'm part of a group of people that are retarded. Why am I going to teach retarded?
He's funny, but this also is a good example of just their general evaluation of evidence with confirmation bias. And confirmation bias is extremely important when it comes to evaluating evidence. It's not only applicable to flat earthers, but to all of us when consuming information, media. We approach a challenge with an overconfidence of our own abilities. For example, Dunning-Kruger. Flat earthers, they have a rejection of authority, a key mechanism to their consistent ignorance, to reject libraries of information based on a retort of, I can't see it, I don't understand it, or a place of paranoia. I wonder if a flat earther has ever asked themselves, how many secrets were they not supposed to tell that they did tell? How many times have you said, you have to promise not to tell? Such a conspiracy is simply purely impossible. Even if you do not accept evidence of hard science, you could simply just rely on your own human nature to disprove it.
People things. They can't get it. They just imagine they're like making fun of it. So they're basically like that, saying that says don't play chess with pigeons because they'll just shit all over the board and pretend like they won anyway. That's what's going on in this world. I'm not going to waste my time with Snatchy Keta.
He is entertaining. I'll give him that.
The greatest interviewer of all time. I'm not going to do it. I have better things to do. Trust me. Let me see here. We've got, where is this at? Oh, we'll listen to this real quick. Just more nonsense.
Bus, especially with the new HD footage. But I'm basically seeing more vindication and more stuff to ask. More.
Babe, did he not? So the fact that we caught them in so many lies and they've been so defensive and they
we're defensive because you're accusing us. Okay, that's weird. So guys, when you get accused of not going somewhere you went, don't get defensive.
Character has just been, you know what I mean?
Nobody knows.
It's leaning more towards of they've been involved in some deceptive.
So there exists a fundamental prime in the flat earth community to distrust and challenge any authority, whether it be academic, government, what have you. You know, how do you provide a social group with good information from a point of authority when you are simply primed to reject it? Makes it difficult, really difficult. It's a challenge.
Activity.
No.
Yeah, and I
False.
did a post on this where I was tracking everything up until the debate. Now,
Dude, you look terrible. You look horrendous, Nemos. I mean, did you hear him say that I took time away from my dying dog to look into this?
after that, it has gotten to the point where there are so many things coming out from so many people.
So
I
many.
can no longer track all of the deceptions, all the busts.
So many deceptions. See how you guys just have to, for a second, please pretend you're me and pretend you went on the trip and everything was exactly as you said. Just pretend. Now open your eyes and look at what's going on and tell me how you would feel. If you would stay around and champion these people and be friends with these people and promote these people, you are lost. I want nothing to do with any of them. Now, flat earthers that have followed me, people that are my VIPs, people that know who they are, of course this isn't talking about you. Of course you know who I am. And I would think if you were asked, is Jaron one of the most honest flat earthers that there are? You would say yes. If you would say no, then you should leave. Because you don't know who I'm.
A influencer, YouTuber named Micktoon has a wonderful law of flurfs, and it states you gotta lie to flurf. It's true. It's really true.
You have not paid attention to a damn
They may not know that they're lying, but they are.
thing. Nothing at all.
To a degree, I don't want to sound too harsh there.
especially with the new HD footage. But I'm basically seeing more vindication and more stuff to.
So think of, these are people that I thought were good researchers. Dustin Nemos had me on his show and told me, Jaron, I was an atheist, and then I found Jesus and I found the Bible and everything, and you need to look at all my, and he sent me this website. And I remember looking around, I was like, man, this guy's really well researched. Look how deep he gets into things. Now I look at it, I'm like, what a waste of time. I will never look at his website again. I'll spit on it.
Ask more questions, not less. It doesn't seem like it's helping them any. But I did a post on this at my website, the Serapeum. It's a Hidden History Archive. It's titled "Every Flat Earth Model Predicts a 24-Hour Sun."
Now this guy's saying it. Do you see what happens? This is what I'm trying to show you. So because one person said it, now Dustin Nemos picked it up, and he's going to say that every flat Earth model predicted a 24-hour sun in the south. And guess what? Everybody will now make that a point, and they'll all say it. This is what happens.
So that's really important. He's touching on echo chambers. And echo chambers are significant in the flat earth community, you know, whether it be via Discord or just choice in media consumption. And you are either in it or out. You are ostracized and cast from the social group if you are a quote unquote glober. A common label is also a globetard. Jeranism is a key player who's played a significant role in the creation of this social movement and sadly the propagation of such bad behaviors. The communities have been strengthened via this social media and these echo chambers, you know, Discord, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, you know, and it only has a target audience of just flat earthers. It does not bring any other thoughts. Jeranism has, in my opinion, a lot to make up for, and I hope with this shift in paradigm, he dedicates the rest of his life and his platforms to a positive cause. The damage he and his cohorts have caused is significant, and he's mentioned it, right? The loss of family, friends, the teaching of misinformation to children. It is a bit abhorrent, and he has taught a lie for a decade.
It's not true. It's just because it matches your model, it matches your worldview, you'll adopt it as true, and anything that doesn't, you'll dismiss as fake. If you can't see that that's a problem and a recipe for misery
In Antarctica.
Good luck.
But did they fail?
What do you think would happen if YouTube altered the algorithm where with certain topics, it did not just continue to promote things that you would enjoy, so to say, but it provided an opposing opinion? What do you think?
Take it. Like I said, I don't care one way or another. So
he doesn't care one way or another.
I was prepared either way. Lady Blount predicted this as early as 19th century. It's not
She didn't predict it. She said that they saw it, that they had evidence of it, and then they said, we don't know how to explain
a
it.
big deal. But
It's not a big deal. She said they don't know how to explain it. If you're a flat earther today, you can no longer explain the sun, the most important thing in the world. You can't explain it.
Them trying to fake it is essentially them trying to hide God.
So now do you see the problem? Now you've put me against Christians. Now you're saying I'm trying to hide God. Why would I want to stay here? Why would I want to be considered a flat earther? You can keep it. You can shove it.
Like, for example, Jaron is already a glober now. He's already saying that flat.
That's a lie. Never said I was a glober, but these guys lie. That's what they do. That's what they do. Find one place I said I'm a glober.
Flat earthers are a cult. And
you are a cult, because even if somebody says I'm no longer a flat earther, look what's gone on. People screenshotted that, shared it. Oh, all the posts on Facebook, people flipping out. That's a cult, dude. That's a cult. What do you think that if Dustin Nemos came out and said, I now believe in the globe, that I would give a fucking shit? Not at all. I don't care what Dustin Nemos believes.
And he used to be a flat earther like a week ago, 2 days ago, whatever.
Exactly.
So,
I used to consider myself a flat earther, yes, until I went down and saw something that actually invalidates the model I believed in.
That's where we're at. And I've basically tracked a number of major.
Let's move on a bit.
Find it. But this guy just lies to you. All lying to you. Why would you accept it?
Okay, here's the example.
Okay, we've already seen this before. Did you know that the sun? You
the
can
spread
go.
Of misinformation and disinformation.
Wake up, fretting, and wake, sleep, wake up.
So he's showing here that the sun goes behind this pole and blinks out. You can go do this in your front yard today with the sun. Go take a pole, set it up, and then take a camera and watch the sun go behind it. But this guy just lies to you because he's too stupid. Okay? He's too stupid. Go to these pictures here. He's got of these maps.
Come on.
See, where's the one here? That one's a lie. So I cannot take it anymore. I'm not going to let people that are on my team just tell lies. That's what they do. Now, you might be thinking, well, Jaron, how do you know it's a lie? It's because it is a lie. And you can believe it if you want, but I'm just telling you it's a lie. This book here is a lie. Okay? This book, we've told him he's way off on. He's way wrong. Okay? They just lie. Banjo is so full of it, I can't even begin to tell you. Okay, let's go to, I had a couple other ones here. But Banjo is the worst. And they don't care that they lie. They don't really care. Why would they? Oh yeah, how about this one? Listen to the volume on that, or listen to the sound on this.
Breaking news.
There we go.
In less than 24 hours, technicians have been able to identify the technology used to fake the 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
Think about how that sets you up and your audience. I mean, it is mimicking what can be described as a breaking news type of situation where we have brand new evidence and information to show that the final experiment is a fraud, that everybody has figured this out. It's very deceptive. Very deceptive.
What? In less than 24 hours, this is Banjo's video where he just put it into an AI to speak to you and tell you lies, and you're okay with it. And you're okay with it. In less than 24 hours, technicians have figured it out.
Breaking news. In less than 24 hours, technicians have been able to identify the technology used to fake the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Amazon Studios has developed a state-of-the-art virtual production facility known as Stage 15, located in Culver City, California. This advanced soundstage features an impressive LED volume wall, a massive curved LED screen measuring 80 feet in diameter and 26 feet in height. The LED wall comprises approximately 3,000 LED panels.
I mean, do you see this room that they're in? Does this look like where we were?
And is equipped with Hun motion capture cameras, enabling dynamic and immersive backgrounds for film and television.
Yeah, and all that stuff takes editing and takes post-production. We were live.
Production. This studio can be transported and set up at any location around the world. Since there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica, the only manner Pastor Will Duffy had to fake a 24-hour sun was to take advantage of Amazon and Disney.
I mean, these claims that are made with such confidence. They're stated as fact. It's crazy.
Movie-making capacity. A combination of movie studio and a real trip to Antarctica.
Look at that. Car barely could go around the corner there.
In capacity.
Watch the car.
A combination of movie studio and a real trip to Antarctica and Hollywood editing process.
Look at the sky.
Will make this movie
Look
making
at the sky.
capacity. A combination of movie studio and a real trip to Antarctica and Hollywood editing process will make this fraud almost impossible to be detected.
What? Why would it be impossible to detect? Look at when you're inside there, what you see.
Spread the world far and wide.
These guys aren't smart enough to realize what a movie is. And it's because of people like Banjo lying to you. That's not a real sound clip. Banjo wrote that. Sure, you know that. Sure, you're smart enough to
I am going to show you today how emergency landings prove we live on a flat Earth. Hi, my name is Eddie Alencar.
We know who
I am the author of the book 16.
We told you to change it. You never did. You wouldn't do it. You said...
Okay. Let's go on. Right about here.
But if you're not for the truth, then this is why I'm leaving. Because I'm not going to lie to you to make you feel better. It hurts my insides to even think of doing that. It's not fair to people. It's not fair. But these other guys that I see, they all lie to you. They don't care. I used to think Flat Earth made you a better person. It does not. And if you haven't seen that, some of the worst things I've ever been told or talked to or said about me or said about my family have come from Flat Earthers. The things that they've said are so disgusting. They put people in danger too. They don't even care. The things they say are just disgusting. It makes you a worse person. It makes you hateful, vengeful. It makes you distrust everybody. Makes you distrust even friends. You don't even have friends anymore. In real life, people don't throw each other under the bus because they're around each other all the time and they know each other and they're like. But on the internet, even though I've done a show with Saab for a year, he'll throw you in the bus in a second. Why? We never met. So it's just very easy for him to say, "Oh, Jeranism, he's lying."
It's a very good point to the power of anonymity online.
Freemason. He's
and just that separation between people.
Jesuit. Doesn't make you a good person. He's a shithead. Now, don't get me wrong. Globers also can be shitheads. But if I'm looking at the plate of things and I'm saying, oh, I'm on one side where, to see what Bro Sanchez does or see what these guys do, where they just devolve into pieces of shit. Slow Sanchez is a piece of shit. The guy on the very video of me and him talking, it took him 3.5 hours. I should bring that up because it's hilarious. Have you ever seen that one where it takes him 3.5 hours to get it? Then he gets it, says, "Oh, damn, oh, shit, no, I don't want to do that show again, oh, his show." And then, I don't know what that really means, but he does that. And then he admits that, oh, if that's what happens down there, then we got problems. Then he goes and he hangs out with Z and these guys, and they just have all kinds of fun. Oh, he's not even going to show that part of the video on this thing, is he? Doesn't look like it. I just saw his video come out yesterday or today, but I don't see. He's never going to show that part. This is just
a good example of how he edits information. I want to move to one other example. It brings up a good conversation about how to approach this or these people.
Then he would model what we saw, but that's not what we saw. I'm the blue ball hauling ass through space guy. I remember you. And religious. Oh, you are. The creation is amazing. The creator would love for us to see it all for all it is. He built it and it's amazing. So you believe in a creator who put things multiple trillions of miles away from you and wrote in the Bible that the earth does not move, but you're moving at 1.2 million miles per hour? That doesn't make sense to me. Sorry. Doesn't make sense. Witsit, the heliocentric globe model has been debunked. It took hundreds of years to make the current model, and it still does not work.
Listen to this claim. He says it with such authority. By he, I mean Witsit gets it. Someone I dislike a great deal. He says the heliocentric globe model has been debunked. It took hundreds of years to make the current model, and it still does not work. We will figure it out. Really? Really? What have you or this community brought to the table that is productive for society? Absolutely nothing. If we approached the world and a reality in the way that you did and do, we wouldn't even have anything that we have today. The internet wouldn't exist. Cars wouldn't exist. Nothing would exist. Nothing positive has come from this movement or the way of thinking.
We will figure it out. The heliocentric globe model has been debunked. Okay? I mean, we'd like a little more substance than that. It took hundreds of years to make the current model, and it still does not work. So I don't know what that means by it does not work. But again, I have problems with it, but not to say it doesn't work. Again, you'll have to explain to me what you're talking about.
Look at that drastic change. In the past, he would have not considered that type of analysis of that statement. At least, I don't think he would. Maybe he would. But I don't think he would. Now, he is approaching it much differently. Much differently.
I mean, and Whitson and I have different opinions on this because I get it. I had a map and a model that I adhered to. And so because I was wrong, I have a hard time just saying, well, I'm still a flat earther and I still, well, now I have, but what happened? Now I don't have a map. Now I've got to accept Joe Hamby's upside down salad bowl or, Stephen Alonso's theft of the globe map. Those are my options. Or a 180 degree refracted sun inside of a personal. Remember, my personal atmospheric dome was just simply reactive to what was around it, meaning that the sun rose when the sun got close to your dome. The
personal atmospheric dome. You got to give him points for creativity.
The sun set when it went away from your dome. There was never a period of time where it's like, well, now the sun is way the fuck over there, 30,000 miles, and you see it in your dome. That doesn't, what? Why is it displaying in my dome? But that's just the way the sky works. No, I don't agree with that. Sorry, I believe in a much more physical reality than that. It's always fun over here for sure. Keep it safe, Jaron. Salutes, respect to the chat folks for sure. Charlie, you're a great guy. Charlie, that's a flat earther, guys, by the way. So not everybody hates me. Charlie's still my friend.
That's all that matters. Charlie's awesome.
Excuse me. NICC Kennedy says, so that's a yes. Guest appearance on Reds incoming. Been watching for years. Respect for being honest. Thank you very much. Witsit back. Witsit says, all these sadistic and slanderous people in the chat are all trash, are still trash humans. Even if Jaron were to end up believing the globe, he detests.
Witsit was the other flat earther who went on the trip to Antarctica.
People. I do detest all trash people. And I do detest people that treat each other terribly when they are other humans. By the way, and if I haven't said this, that a lot of the flat earthers are flat earthers because of the actions of
I do believe Jeranism is actually a kind individual.
Globe earthers. Just, and that's just the way it was. I mean, I told Toon and stuff like that. I said, Toon, you are causing more flat earthers. If like the point of his channel is, oh, I don't like flat earthers, so I want to get rid of flat earthers, you would never act like that. He gaslights. He makes a character called Toonville, or I don't know what the other guy's name is, McTooney, something, whatever. But like when you do that, what you're doing is people that are flat earthers see that, and it just nobody sees that and like, oh man, this guy's making fun of us. Now I want to go back to being a glober. No,
Jeranism, he makes an interesting point here. When it comes to things like deviance or labeling theory, regarding the opposing side and how they approach, flat earthers, it is sometimes aggressive in nature. He mentions McToon, an individual who has done a lot of good in providing the alternative opinion. How could he approach this differently? I think if we adjusted the frame a bit to our perception that flat earthers from one of like deviance to a frame of sympathy, changing the perception from a belief to an illness. It may be effective. It really is difficult, though. Really is difficult because these are such extreme beliefs. I believe McToon has actually said such in a different way, suggesting the flat earth community is mentally ill in ways, or a haven for it.
Nobody. It solidifies their position. They feel stronger. They join other flat earthers who all look at Toon and think negatively, and they don't want anything to do with that. And then what happens is nobody watches this stuff. Nobody. No flat earther watches this stuff. So he's creating more flat earthers. So is Simon Dan. Those guys, they create more flat earthers. So this is why I think it's by design. There's never a scientist or a PhD or anybody who comes out and helps debunk these guys. And then those guys lie. And then when flat earthers realize they're lying, then they well, of course, don't believe anything anymore because they're like, these science guys are lying, right? I mean, like, trying to think of some examples. They say we don't see too far. Ladies and gentlemen, we see too far. Okay? It's now, if you want to say it's because of refraction and that refraction lifts things up, great, then say that. But just saying we don't see too far.
They do.
Is not true. And when you say that, and people like myself have been out there and seen too far, then we're like, okay, that's false. Or when they don't get off of something like the condensing of images showing curve. It's open.
You know, it's so difficult because this group, this community, you know, these are such fringe beliefs. And, you know, with the advent of social media, these fringes now can connect and develop a community. I hope the next Flat Earth conference is right next to SpaceX. They can go and observe a rocket launch and then ask themselves, like, what the hell have they and their community ever contributed to society?
Okay to admit you were wrong and to give up. If you don't know, globe earthers, people were taking images, let's say you take a picture of the horizon, and then condensing it in Photoshop and showing that there's a curve. Okay. Now what we did is we took known straight lines, whether it be your countertop, a desk, even a straight line drawn on a paint program on the computer. And from angle, we would take pictures of it and show curve. So as soon as that happens, as a community of human beings, we need to be smart enough to say, okay, globe earthers, don't use that as evidence anymore because it's not evidence. You can no longer say, look at this picture, I condensed it and it shows curve, because a flat earther will say, yes, but we can show curve on known horizontal lines. So as human beings, we just need to be able to admit that that's not evidence anymore. Guess what? The glober keeps doing it. Globers will just keep doing it. So to us, flat earthers, we look at that and we go, those guys are liars and they'll never see the truth because they're avoiding reality. So just, you know, that's why
avoiding reality. I think that we will end on that note right there because that is definitely the problem. So what I would like to just take away from this is there are many different approaches to obtaining information and how we disseminate that information as well. There are definitely positives and negatives, but I hope that the Flat Earth community can take a look at just the behavior alone of their community and do a little bit of self-reflection. I do think that the Flat Earth experiment, the final experiment, has brought a lot of good discussion to this community within it. And I'm excited to see what will occur and how things change. And I'm also excited for Jeranism. He has an opportunity now to do some real good. And I hope he takes advantage of this moment and continues to grow and create a positive platform. All right. Well, thank you for watching. I hope some good information was disseminated to you, and have a good night.